Tell me how you analyze a Brady motion.
How I analyze a Brady motion?
Yes.
Senator, in my 4.5 years on the bench, don't believe I've had the occasion to address a Brady motion in my career.
Do you know what a Brady motion is?
Senator, in my time on the bench, I've not had occasion to address that, and so it's not coming to mind at the moment what a Brady motion is.
Do you recall the U.S. Supreme Court case, Brady v. Maryland?
I do recall the name.
Oh, this is so embarrassing.
Senator, yes.
And what did it hold?
I don't remember.
I believe that the Brady case Senator, I believe the Brady case involves something regarding the Second Amendment. It is not. I've not had occasion to address that. If that issue were to come before me, I would certainly analyze that Supreme Court precedent and apply it as I would need to the facts in front of me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Tell
me how you...
Okay. This might be the most embarrassing thing to watch for anybody with the mildest degree of empathy. Hold on. I'm just going to bring this out here. I'm bringing it back. We're going to walk through that again. It could very well be the most embarrassing thing on earth to watch. I'm going to go out and give this gentleman the absolute benefit of the doubt. We have all had those moments known as brain farts where you just can't think. Panic sets in and it's like, we've talked about it before, the Miss America. I personally believe that U.S. Americans, we've all had those moments. If they happen to you at a bad time, you lose the job. Imagine that's a job interview, because I had a job interview when I, graduated law school, and I went into this thing called la course au stage, the race for the internships. And you go through interviews, and you can, if you honestly self-reflect and you say, yeah, that was a shitty interview, I don't expect to get that job. The man, there's not a Taco Bell on earth that can cause so much gas to cause a brain fart of this level. It's inexplicable. I'm a Canadian dumbass with a Quebec law license. I know what a Brady motion. You can't have a brain fart and forget what a Brady motion is. You have to have a full frontal lobotomy to not be able to recognize a Brady motion. But what's absolutely irritating about this, you could see that these candidates are prepped to, you remember when Zuckerberg was being deposed, or he was, testifying before Congress, and he said, Congressman, every bloody answer started with Congressman, and they would refer, because, you're buying some time. Listen to the way.
Tell me how.
By the way, we're going to read an article as to how the media spins this. It's not the candidate stumbles a little bit. This is beyond brain fart. This is lobotomized.
You analyze a Brady motion?
A Brady motion, Brady v. Maryland, is the requirement of the prosecutor to turn over exculpatory evidence to the defendant.
How I analyze a Brady motion?
Yes.
Senator, in my 4.5 years on the bench, don't believe I've had the occasion to address a Brady motion.
This thing called a Brady motion, I've never, in my 4.5 years on the bench, sir, in my 4.5 years of YouTube law commentating political stuff, I've discussed Brady motions.
In my career.
Do you know what a Brady motion is?
Oh my gosh, I feel, and I genuinely,
Senator,
I still feel
in my time on the bench, I've not had occasion to address that, and so it's not coming to mind at the moment. What
verbal diarrhea.
Do you recall the U.S. Supreme Court case, Brady v. Maryland?
I
do recall the name of the case.
Something about Second Amendment stuff and whatnot. Oh my goodness! Let me just we want to be educated. We want to know, what goes on in this world. Cornell Law School, which is where I've gotten my. I'm going to make a joke about having a law degree, and then someone's going to say that I made a joke about having a law degree in the States. A Brady rule, named after Brady v. Maryland, requires prosecutors to disclose material, exculpatory information in the government's possession to the defense. Brady material or the evidence the prosecutor is required to disclose under this rule includes any information favorable to the accused, which may reduce a defendant's potential sentence, go against the credibility of unfavorable witnesses, or otherwise allow a jury to infer the defendant's guilt. Whatever. You could go read about it, people. Do you know what the Brady violation is? What we now seem to have discovered prosecutors did to some, if not all, of the January 6th defendants, but at least one in particular, Jacob Angeli, Jacob Chansley, aka the QAnon shaman. Not disclosing potentially exculpatory evidence, it's the most fundamental violation of civil rights imaginable. You're going to have your rights taken away from you by a prosecution that does not disclose to the prosecuted evidence that could exonerate the prosecuted. Oh, and this guy, we're going to call it Taco Bell brain fart. But don't, guys, it wasn't a brain fart. It wasn't otherwise disqualifying. It was a stumble. Bloomberg law, people. Bloomberg law. Cato Cruz testifies in the Senate Judiciary confirmation hearing. Here we go. Look at this. Biden judicial nominee stumbles over Brady motion definition. A second Biden federal trial court nominee was tripped up over Republican confirmation here. Imagine that he was tripped up over the Republican sneaky, tricky question. What's a Brady violation? What's a Brady rule? What's a Brady? I was not aware there was going to be legal questions at this confirmation hearing. It's like he's tripped up. That wasn't a trip up question. That was what we call a slam dunk. That I've never had a chance to adjudicate on a Brady motion in my 4.5 years on the bench, which was odd. But my goodness, do I firmly believe in the most fundamental rules of natural law and God-given rights that a defendant should have all evidence turned over to the defendant, including that which may exonerate the defendant. No. Tripped up over Republican confirmation hearing questions, this time involving a senator's inquiry about a criminal law tenet. Cato Cruz, a magistrate judge in Denver who's been selected for a district court seat there, couldn't define a Brady motion and how to analyze it at his confirmation hearing Wednesday. The motion, enshrined in the landmark Supreme Court ruling in Brady v. Maryland, is a request by a defendant to compel prosecution in a criminal case to turn over potentially favorable evidence. You know what? Hey, I'm no lawyer in the States. Bloomberg, I'm going to call poo-poo on you. It's not a request by a defendant. It is a positive obligation, unless I'm mistaken. It's a positive obligation by the prosecution to turn over the evidence that is in the possession of the prosecutor that might be exculpatory or might exonerate the defendant. It's not an obligation on the defendant to ask for it. Maybe I'm wrong. I believe the Brady case involves something in regard to the Second Amendment, Cruz said. I have not had an occasion to address that. Do we want to continue reading this? I don't think we need to. Updates with Tobias comments of the 9. Okay, whatever. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. And it's an embarrassment to the Biden administration. I mean, I know the comments and the people in the chat. Hold on. Okay, I just saw the chat that says we're not live on Rumble. Okay, it's not me. Everyone, we're not continuing this stream until we continue it on Rumble. I know that I have we're on locals. Okay. Rumble LOL. It says starting. Apparently he's just noticing his chats. Yeah, because I was Bill Brown. I'm in locals. I was on a roll. He only looks at the grift side. What are you, Rocket? Thank you. What are you talking about? Why is it not playing? I'm not going to panic the way I'm not panicking the way I did the last time. Maybe there's a delay. People, hold on. Winston, you're going on the ground. Let's figure this out, people. Okay, I've done everything that I've ever done the exact same way that I've done it. We're having trouble streaming to your destination. It's possible the RTMP is not right. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so hold on. Let me remove this. Okay, and we're going to add it. Give me 2 seconds, people. It's possible I have fat fingers, which is not the first time this has happened. Okay, cut RTMP, paste RTMP, cut stream key, paste stream key, and we're going to go with I'll just call this one Cato so that I don't mistake it with Kari. Add, save. Panic is never the right thing. It's Trump's fault. It's Russia's fault. That's whose fault it is. Okay. I'm definitively certain it is in. It's there. And now I'm gonna refresh. Yes. Okay. I'm seeing a weight loss ad. Skip. All right. Well, do I start again? Oh, hold on. We got Carly Ellison back in the house. Flag and report this channel for violation of our community guidelines. Election interference. I just heard something break. It's actually a community. Now that we're actually talking about community guidelines, it's a community guidelines violation to incite people to wrongly flag a channel, Carly Ellison. So yeah, hashtag confession through projection. Hashtag accuse your enemy of doing that which you are doing so as to create confusion. Do I start with the? I'm not redoing the entire intro, but I think I just heard something break. Hold on. Something might have broken. You need a bigger hammer, Viva? What is that supposed to mean? So we're not starting again. Everyone might just have to watch the intro. Did something break? What? Close it. The dog up. Text mom. Tell her to help you. Okay.
Mom's not here.
Stay away from it. Close the door. I'll be there. Okay, just close the door and stay away from it. I knew I heard something shatter out there. Hold on a second, people. Sorry. The kids broke something, period. They might need your assistance ASAP, period. Don't worry about... Okay, I'm just telling them to be careful, not step in it. I'm not... Okay. Welcome to Viva Frei vlog channel from my home office where kids are on spring break for the rest of this week, and then they're back at school. So they're here now, and apparently I'm not cleaning up. Dude, no. First of all, Tyson Sperling. Those who have been around the channel for a long time know darn well I have a pet peeve in life, and it's broken glass. So I let some people who don't have that attention to detail go and do the initial cleanup, and then I go in there with my phone on the ground like this, and then you put the light on the ground level and angle it up so you can see the smallest specks of remaining glass. I bring in the vacuum cleaner. I bring in wet paper towels. I hate broken glass. I once did a Spartan race, and it was a long one. I think it was the Ultra Beast, which was like 50 kilometers. And the night before, I got a piece of glass in my heel, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to run the race because I've got a microscopic piece of glass in my heel because something broke at the hotel room, and I found it before the race. So that's it. And look, okay, everyone's on me today. I bought a better camera. I have the camera in the box at the front door. I forgot to open it today because I forgot that I had a podcast with Bryce Eddy, which I did earlier today, that is going to be published tonight, from what I understand. So check out Bryce Eddy. Is going to be publishing the podcast with me and him, if you don't know who he is. So yeah, no one cares about, I'm sorry. Everyone should care about how to clean up broken glass properly. You do the initial sweep, You get the vacuum cleaner, you get the small pieces. Then you do a wet paper towel and you get into the nooks and crannies. And if you have tiles, you get into the grouting of the tiles to eliminate all. And you do this multiple times. Okay, done. But speaking of nobody caring, all right, before we get going, I'm not redoing the intro. I was going to continue to read. No, I read the article from Bloomberg. Potential federal court nominee stumbles. Can't identify what a Brady motion is. All right. On a good note, people, you may have noticed when you came into the stream, it said this video contains a paid sponsorship. Because it does. And it's one that I use and that I love. Oh, they have a new product called Lean Weight Loss. Field of Greens, people. Let me get to the Field of Greens part. The food. It's a food. Desiccated greens. Why I keep it on my desk all the time. I actually do. It's a little known fact that the typical human is supposed to have 5 to 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables daily. So you can get the nutrients, the foliage, the roughage, not the foliage, all that good stuff that most people do not get. Especially when you're traveling, it's virtually impossible to get your daily dose of fruits and vegetables. That's what Field of Greens is useful for. This is not an extract. It's not a supplement. It's a food. It's USDA organic approved right there. It's a food. 1 spoonful contains 1 servings of fruits and vegetables. Let me see this. Antioxidant power, boosted immunity, all of the good stuff. Twice a day, you get 2 servings of fruits and vegetables with, I spoke with the doctor of the company. It's good. Nothing is as good as the actual raw fruits and vegetables, but it's the darn next best, second best thing for those who don't get their fruits and vegetables in. It's a healthy habit, so you don't sit there and suck back a disgusting, chemical-infested Diet Coke or sugar-infested regular Coke. Fieldofgreens.com, promo code VIVA will get you 15% off your first order and 10% off subscription, something like that. Promo code VIVA, get your stuff. It's a good, healthy habit to get into and to wean out unhealthy habits. The link is in the description. Thank you very much, Field of Greens. There's nothing easier than sponsoring a product that I actually use. I love chemically infested Coke too. It creates a bad addiction. There's no question about that. Okay. What are we going to talk about today? I called it. And you know what? Robert Barnes was doing a live stream last night on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. And he was talking about the Trump indictment that has not yet occurred. And Barnes was going through, element by element. I think he cited 5 elements as to why the indictment is baloney on its face, like Taco Bell baloney. Statute of limitations. Hush money's not a crime. I forgot all the other ones, which I'll get. Oh, yeah. Motivated prosecution, malicious prosecution, selective prosecution. Barnes went through all of the reasons why, even if Trump gets indicted, it's absolute Taco Bell baloney. And I asked in the chat, I was like, Barnes, any chance that they don't now indict so that they can then say, look at Trump spreading disinformation. We were never going to indict him. He's a liar. I was like, oh, no, even that question is stupid to some extent because they convened a grand jury. Like, they're not convening a grand jury so as not to indict. Oh, have I gotten cynical or have I just gotten well-trained by the Barnes? Because lo and behold, now there's an article that just came out in Fox News that said, quoting Bragg. His name is Alvin Bragg, right? I think that's his first name. Alvin Bragg. Soros funded indirectly through Color of Change PAC. Kids are coming in here. Now, apparently Bragg is saying Trump misled the public on the possibility of an indictment. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to Kari Lake, and we're going to get to a bunch of other stuff that's off in the chat. But, do we start? Well, yeah, let's just start with the Trump, and then we're going to go on over to Rumble exclusively now that I've fixed it. Thank goodness. Okay, here's the link to Rumble. So after we talk about this, as of yet, Trump has not yet been indicted. Could it be that not influencers, that's not the right word, analysts, political commentating analysts, may have actually sensitized enough people to the bullshittery that we are currently witnessing with the malicious witch hunt persecution of Donald Trump, a man who so cannot be president again. He would lose to a head-to-head with Joe Biden today. He would lose to a head-to-head with DeSantis. He's so incapable of ever being reelected as president that the administrative state, the deep state, the politicized, corrupt prosecutors throughout the nation are doing everything in their bloody power to make sure that he can't even get on the ballot, to ruin his life, to destroy him. What are they doing out there? That's how unlikely it is that he can ever become president. He's such a useless, hapless candidate that they've got to go out of their way to destroy him to make sure that he can never again run for office. Okay, here's the article from Fox News today, so take it with a grain of salt. My God, I feel smart. I feel smart for having suggested it, and I have evidence that I'm the one who actually suggested. They're not going to do it, and they're going to try to blame Trump for having spread misinformation about his potential alleged upcoming indictment. Manhattan DA Bragg, I guess you could say he's bragging about it, response to House GOP document request, says Trump, quote, created a false expectation of arrest. Bragg's office called the GOP lawmakers' request an unlawful incursion into New York's sovereignty. Confession through projection. Confession through projection. Let's just see what happens here. Michigan District Attorney Alvin Bragg responded to several leading House Republicans' requests for information on the probe into former President Donald Trump, saying Trump created a false expectation that his arrest was imminent. Now they can back off of it. And what they're going to say is, we convened a grand jury only so that we could abide by the rule of law. And if the grand jury, gosh darn it, if they said we're not going to indict Trump, well, we're just going to live with that. And we are a DA that believes in the rule of law. We were never going to indict him. Or maybe that grand jury, but for the political shitstorm that was caused by Trump tweeting in advance, because Trump is not tweeting this without having some knowledge about it, presumably, as his past conduct has confirmed. Remember when Trump said they wiretapped me? They wiretapped Trump Tower, and then the fake news went ballistic. It's a fake news fact check. He don't get wiretapped because, in today's day and age, when they spy on you, they don't tap wires anyhow because phones don't have wires anymore. To think that Trump didn't know what was going on when he tweeted that out would be naive. To think he didn't, he just made this out of thin air would be naive as well. Bragg's general counsel sent a 5-page letter to GOP House Committee Chairman Jim Jordan of Ohio, Brian Steele of Wisconsin, and James Comer of Kentucky regarding the request for documents and testimony in the Trump investigation. Do they talk about Soros funding Bragg here? Maybe not. The district attorney's office said the investigation is one of thousands conducted. Do you understand this, by the way? Like, you're being lied to when this is their reflexive defense. The district attorney's office said the investigation, quote, is one of thousands conducted by the office in its history, and that Bragg, quote, stands by his pledge, end quote, to release the conclusion of the investigation publicly. It's one of thousands conducted? How many has your office conducted of a former president of the United States, leading frontrunner for the GOP and potential future president yet again of the United States? How many? Just we do these all the time. Oh, your letter dated March 20th, 2023. The letter, in contrast, is an unprecedented inquiry into a pending legal prosecution, Bragg wrote. Oh, okay. Well, at least they're admitting that. The letter only came after Donald Trump created a false expectation that he would be arrested the next day, and his lawyers reportedly urged you to intervene, the letter accused. Neither fact is a legitimate basis for congressional inquiry. Bragg's office also, an unlawful incursion into New York's sovereignty. Yep. If we want to abuse of our prosecutorial discretion to go after a former president on a novel legal theory, which, according to a great many legal minds, not just Robert Barnes, Dershowitz, Jonathan Turley, is full of crap, well, that's our prosecutorial discretion to do so. What else is going on here? The Manhattan grand jury will not hear testimony, deliberate, or vote on the hush money case against former President Donald Trump on Thursday, sources confirmed. This is from yesterday. So they canceled the grand jury hearing that was scheduled for today. Let me see here. The letter indicates that its request may be related to a review of federal public safety funds, Bragg's office wrote. But the letter does not suggest any way in which either district attorney's testimony about his prosecutorial decisions or the documents and communications of former assistant district attorneys on a pending criminal investigation would shed light on that review. Bullshit. It's so easy to determine how they could shed light on the review and whether or not this is malicious prosecution. Oh, anyhow. So that's what's happening. This is the politics behind the backstory. The attorneys, Mark Pomerantz and Kari, we talked about this yesterday, sought to prosecute Trump in 2022 in a novel theory of a crime that has probably been prescribed, is the term under Quebec law in the States, has exceeded the statute of limitations by a good 2 years. But Bragg rejected their legal theories. They then resigned. So was there any political, politicking internally that caused you to reconsider your position, Bragg? This indictment comes after years of the district attorney's office aggressively pursuing charges, with you and other special prosecutors leading the investigation into every facet of Trump's finances. Last year, you resigned from the office over Bragg's initial reluctance to move forward with charges. Bragg is now attempting to shoehorn the same case with identical facts into a new prosecution, Jordan wrote. I like Jordan. And yeah, that's what's happening. Bottom line, no prosecution yet. But they're trying to paint it as though Trump is the one who spread misinformation by suggesting his arrest was imminent, when the arrest probably was imminent, and the grand jury might have felt empowered, protected, shielded, morally justified in returning that grand jury indictment. And maybe they don't feel quite so confident. Maybe now that we're seeing footage of actual New Yorkers who are coming out and saying that this is absurd, even for them, maybe the grand jury is not so confident that they can get away with authorizing this indictment while avoiding public scrutiny. All right, the link to Rumble is in the chat again, people. Let me see if we're all still good on. Yeah, we're good. All right, booyah. Now let me see something here. Rumble says an existing detected. Okay, I'm going to refresh this. I may lose some Rumble rants. Are we live here? Okay, we're good. What was I going to say before we go over to Rumble? Standard disclaimers: no election advice, no medical advice, no legal advice. These beautiful things called super chats. YouTube takes 30% of those, and if you don't like giving your hard-earned money to YouTube and you'd rather give it to a platform that actually supports freedom of speech, head over to Rumble. They have these things called Rumble Rants, or as I like to say, Rumble Rants. And they take 20%. So it's better to support a platform that actually supports free speech, the movement that is Rumble. And it's better for the creator. The easiest way to support the channel without having to shell out anything: like, share, subscribe, and word of mouth, people. No matter how cynical you get, it's impossible to keep up. Lily Tomlin, 251 Omega. Do you know that that's actually in the banner of my Twitter page? That's the banner of my Twitter. I replaced a long-running. I replaced the original, or one that hadn't changed in years. My banner in Twitter says, no matter how cynical you get, it is impossible to keep up. Lily Tomlin. 1,000%, people. Cool Whip, anyone? You can't have pie without Cool Whip. All right, everyone, let's end it on YouTube. Go over to Rumble, and then after that, we can mosey on over to locals because we got fun. Oh my goodness! Wait until you see some of the videos that we are going to look at today. They're good. They're good. Okay, ending on YouTube. There's 2,245 people currently watching on YouTube. Mosey on over to Rumble. And by the way, I know some of you say, oh, the user interface sucks. It got all sorts of problems. Text me. Put it in the comments. Let me know. I am mildly close with the CEO, Chris Pavlovsky, so I can just message him any recommendations, any suggestions, any constructive criticism that people may have. There will be some growing pains because, my goodness, Rumble is growing. When you have Crowder pulling in 130, 170,000 live viewers, there will be growing pains. But Pavlovsky and Rumble as an entity are well open to legitimate constructive criticism. So let me know, and I'll do it. Do a full show here. This is where you were made. You just threw us over. I can't go to Rumble on my TV. No, we're going to Rumble. But hold on a second. Someone said something. Someone said something that I did want to address. Why did I join YouTube then? I joined YouTube in 2014. And even when my channel started picking up, I didn't realize I started learning the chicanery real fast. But people vote with their dollar. People vote with their foot. And so now it's time for the remaining 1,800 people to vote with their feet, or don't. And then you can watch it when I post the entire stream to YouTube tomorrow. So it will be on YouTube, just not live, interactive for everyone to deal with, for everyone to interact with. Here we go, people. Ending on YouTube in 3, 2,